To talk to you about the measures that have been announced. Let's tell our viewers what happened today. Finance Minister came out with a second set of announcements specifically for the banking sector. 10 banks, public sector banks, in fact, have been merged into 4 banks. In fact, these were the announcements. She also announced a slew of measures to improve the governance of banks and also talked about the fact that there has been an improvement in the non-performing assets as far as the public sector banks are concerned. Listen in to what she had to say.
Loan recovery record levels have been reached. If in financial year 18, 77,000 odd amount was collected, 77,000 crores. Now it's crossed 1,21,000 crores. That's about record recovery levels. Then the gross NPAs. I want particular attention to be drawn of the media for this. Gross NPAs have come down. So in December 2018, if you had 8.65 lakh crores, now the asset quality has improved, NPAs have come down, and the level at which they are today is only 7.90 lakh crores. So we very quickly give you a complete picture of what kind of consolidation we are going to be doing. The first one, before I start, the large capacity of one bank, the technology-driven capacity of another, and the strong deposit franchise the third has are all being brought together. So Punjab National Bank, Oriental Bank of Commerce, and United Bank will be brought together, and they shall form the second largest public sector bank with business of 17.95 lakh crores. Second, which we are consolidating, are both banks coming from the south. Canara Bank with Syndicate Bank. They will be the fourth largest PSB with business of 15.20 lakh crores, which means approximately 1.5 times more than the current size of the Canara Bank itself. Union Bank of India with Andhra Bank and Corporation Bank. This shall now become the fifth largest public sector bank with business of 14.59 lakh crores, approximately 2 times the size of Union Bank of India.
All right, joining me on the phone line is economist Bhanumurthy as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, 2 big points today. One is, of course, these announcements made by the finance minister. Second is GDP growth, which came in at 5%, which is more than a 6-year low that we're talking about. First, if I can get your reaction as far as the GDP growth is concerned.
I think to some extent it is a surprise because many analysts felt that there is going to be a slowdown. There is no doubt about it. But the extent of slowdown seems to be really a surprise. That itself shows that the kind of pressure the Indian economy is facing for quite some time. I think this largely been contributed by slow, assessment of the Indian economy, and I think that seems to have deepened the slowdown. Thankfully, I think the government has taken many measures recently, and my guess is that with these measures, the Indian economy seems to have bottomed out, and now onwards we should expect some kind of recovery because of not only the domestic factor, domestic policy measures, but also due to some kind of a the improvement in the overall external environment. So going forward, I think we should be looking at some kind of recovery, but the recovery to be a little more robust, I think the government should come out with some more measures in addition to what they have done today.
Right. And as far as the consolidation, the mergers that have been announced, obviously, this is something that the government has been speaking about for a while now. But how much do you see it really completely cleaning up the entire banking system in the country?
I have a different opinion on this.
Right.
My guess is that, as we all know, that India doesn't have many instruments in terms of savings. Now, I think there is a need to understand the savings plays a major role in the overall macroeconomic environment. which is actually declining for quite some time. And I would have expected that we need to have more banks. Maybe what the government is trying to do is try to consolidate and make the banks a little more stronger. But I think that is not sufficient enough. Rather, I think they need to come out with some more banks where we need to have some kind of fresh governance structure, and I think we need to have more penetration of the banks. I think that is the way one should go when we really talk about expanding the overall financial sector. So one way it is good. I think it's only a partial measure in my view, but I think that needs to be complemented by more new banks where you may feel that you can have better governance mechanism.
Right. And as far as the bad loans, the NPAs of banks are concerned, again, she highlighted how that issue has, the NPAs have in fact reduced. Do you think the worst is over on that front?
Again, the improvement that is showing up right now, which the Honorable Finance Minister very clearly mentioned, I think it is also to do with the change in the way the RBI has made the banks to declare the NPAs, particularly that February 2018 notification. Now, that must have helped a little bit to, feel that, we do see a decline in the, NPA, gross NPA situation. But I think the pressure points are definitely there, and my guess is that Mudra loans and all those things, once it comes out, I think the NPA situation might worsen a little more than what we think right now.
Okay.
In fact, even have you seen that housing, that the National Highway Authority, many things started coming out.
Right.
My guess is that some of them may be delayed because of the change in the RBI's notification compared to what we've seen in the past.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us with your perspective. Also joining me now on the phone.